they all got cracks no matter what shit.
Yeah, oh well. That's a big old log though.
Yeah. Tree? No one on the tree? Crazy.
It is a beautiful afternoon, so we're gonna tag along on some trees today.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
You wanna fire it up, buddy? Go ahead and the button.
We're a little chunky.
That's one though that I'm gonna clean up all the branches and
It's a big one for sure.
close enough to the house. I want to clean it up.
Yeah.
Got right here. We get that one. Those are kind of small. That one looks a little rough, but it's pretty big. Got this one you could probably get a little bit of lumber stuff out of. You know, so I thought I'd just make a fire pit right here and do all these, you know, in a day or two when I
Yeah, totally.
just have a bunch.
A lot of good ones, like you said. I didn't even realize they were all out here.
That one is gonna blow down soon. The way the bark
Yeah, I see that.
all come off of it.
Twisted.
Yeah. That's the one there.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah. And
All right.
open, it lands right here.
You better hope so. Stay here, buddy. I know. Oh, Brother Sam is so tired, he says.
That way. Huh?
That's not the goal, though.
Well,
Not a lot of positivity.
if I change my goal to having a higher probability of success, I think I could get the tree to go that way, but not with these birch branches in the way. You know, it's going to start and then it's just going to kind of slough them off to the side. So I'm going to go this way. There's nothing else to hit aside from that nice spruce. Whoa! You see what I mean though with all these branches?
Yeah.
It would have had to bend all those out of the way.
All right.
Ma?
So how did it go?
A tree.
Well, it went where you said it would go.
Yeah. Couldn't get it hit the ground. You know. It just doesn't take much when there's a tangle 30 feet up, you know, and it's like Velcros the two trees together. I bet you we can get we'll get 35 feet of usable cabin logs. And then probably some smaller 2x4 stuff after that.
Okay, so what math magic did you just do to decide 35 feet?
How many other trees I've cut down and how diameter times how much you can get out of it. Our goal for anything that we're gonna mill into a D-log for the cabin is for the small end of the log to be 9 inches.
3.
Whoa, yeah. I have some that are 8 1/4, 8 1/2, you know, and they won't have a perfect 90-degree edge on the inside of that D. It'll have the natural curve of the log a little bit, but that's fine. Just don't want them all that way. And then we've got other stuff that's going to be 4 joists, needs to be a bigger diameter, a couple of beams and different stuff like that. We got so many different logs we need. Basically, you can go down there till it's 8 1/2, 9 inches, and then work your way back and see what you can get out of it. And then usually out to about 6 inches, I'll still keep that because, you know, you can get a couple 2x4s or a 2x6 and 2x4s or something like that out of it. Not enough for a log. I already cut the tree down. I've already got the wood there. Might as well get some lumber out of it. Then past that, depending on where I'm at, if I'm too far away from the house, I'll just leave the little stuff in the woods. If it's kind of around the yard, I will get all of it picked up, burn the branches, get up everything that's left for firewood, and just to keep the yard clean. But there's too much, you know, when we're out here on the outskirts of the property, you can't clean up all the trees. It takes too long. Got a little bit of OCD, and I like to keep it clean. It's a constant battle. First tree I used it on.
Yeah. Let me see.
It should go to a fine point. Is that a crow?
Go.
Get out of here, crow. I'm gonna get out of here. Actually, usually we'll check before I cut off the end and see the condition of the wood. If I need, you know, like this orange here, that's a little bit of rot on the edges. That's not too bad, because if we're making a D-log, you know, we're gonna cut 3 sides of it out, and we can pick. Usually it's either the south side, north side. Like there's one side, whichever way the tree might have been leaning, it'll hold snow on one side.
Right.
And it's usually rotten on one side. If there's any kind of great big crazy cracks, you know, anything crazy, you can move up the log a couple feet. Normally we're standing on 30 inches of snow, and you usually got to get, you know, 4 or 5 feet up the tree in order to get into real good wood, you know, because like this, in what's really a low snow year, the snow's sitting against the tree. That moisture's there all year long, plus the bushes and stuff staying wet in the summertime. So we'll go ahead and we'll come up another 10 inches since there is just a little bit of rot there, and I'm sure that'll be fine. If some trees, you know, I gotta come up 6, 8 feet depending on how long they've been dead, but each one's different.
Okay, Henry, come on.
All right.
Back it up.
So that paints a little better picture since it's not at the angle. You can see this whole side of the tree has that orange. This side really doesn't. So right here is about 8 inches in diameter. So, nope, I need a tape measure, buddy. Right here is about 8 inches in diameter. So we'll go back down. We'll work back this way and see what we end up with. You know, if we can get a 10-footer that ends right here and it'll be a little small on one side. Basically, the gist of it is I don't want to cut it here at 8 inches now and then go down there and start measuring my way back and realize that if I would have had another foot, it might have been a little on the small side, but I would have got a whole nother log out of it. I know right here is roughly when we run out of usable wood. We'll go back and work our way this way and see what we end up with. You're so funny, Henry. It's a pretty borderline tree, really. Yeah. Usually gives you a pretty good idea when it doesn't really have any branches left. You know, when the branches are getting rotten enough, they're all breaking off in the wind. every time we turn. Whoa. Wow.
We need to hike him up for a snow machine ride. Oh, how did it go? Pretty smooth?
Last tree for the day.
That's probably good, huh? Oh,
I think I'll
that daylight's starting to give the illusion of more time.
keep you out here all day. Ice? Good job, buddy. Did you see my nails?
Oh, yeah?
Old owners must have had a private property sign on that tree.
Funny. We were right.
I'm just glad I saw them.
Yeah.
2 nails like that, I'm pretty confident that, it was just a sign. I can pull those 2 and...
Cool, that's funny.
Okay.
All right, why don't you show us around your lumber yard here?
Where do we start?
You're the boss.
It's a mess. I should have built a bigger, I didn't know I was going to turn it into a lumber yard. But we've got a lot of logs. We have 12 more to go. So we went through everything that we were planning on building over the next, 6-8 months. And calculated out how many logs we needed, what we needed for lumber. So far, we have 112 logs that I've collected this winter that are sitting here. And we only need 12 more. And that will be everything that we calculated that we need. As long as there's snow on the ground, I'm just going to keep stacking it up because, I'm sure July is going to roll around and we're going to go, oh yeah, let's do this over here with a garden or whatever. Even though I already kind of calculated in some extras, I'm just going to keep going, keep stacking. So we've got over there by the tractor, we've got 30 logs stacked there. Those are all just for the garden. It's going to be the new moose fence. It's actually going to have a working gate and true rails between the posts to hold the fence tight. So that'll be nice. That's what all that's for. Mostly everything else is for the guest cabin. 10s and 12 footers there. Got 16 footers there. 8 footers in front. Then that big stack over there by the sawmill is going to be beams and posts and floor joists. And then, all this stuff kind of on the ground here is just going to be, it still needs to be sorted into its individual stacks. But I've already kind of made plans for the guest cabin on, I need 6 12-footers are going to do this wall with the window. And then over on the 16-foot side, we cut out the window. We'll use these logs over here. So I've got all that figured out, nail bound to exactly what we need. So once we have all the logs, the next step is really just going to be milling. By the time that's all said and done, it's going to be 120, 130, 140 logs. It's going to be a lot of milling. We kind of have it all figured out. Some of the stuff, like the garden fence, we're not planning on having that done until next spring. So that's just going to kind of be as time goes. A lot like this little stack of logs here. That's just spare, scrap, miscellaneous logs from the top of the tree that, I can make some lumber with. Make some 2x4s, some 2x6s. But it's good wood, so I didn't want to just lop it up into firewood. Just kind of work down an order of what we need for the build. So be doing the posts, beams, and floor joists. I'll be doing those pretty quick. And then I'm just going to get them out of the way. And then everything else is just going to be D logs. So once we kind of get a system going on that, it should go pretty quick.
How many logs do you need for the guest cabin build?
What?
I don't have that answer.
Huh?
I don't know. I would say for the guests, and this is just rough spitball, and I know my total numbers, but that's all of the projects. For the guest cabin, I think I need about 65 logs for the guest cabin. They're all different. Like all of the ones for the garden fence, every single one of those logs is too small to be used for anything on the guest cabin. So it's very, you know, you cut down a tree. I'm just trying to maximize all the wood I can get out of a tree. So, you know, the top half is too small to be used on the guest cabin, but it's still good wood. So use it for the garden fence. Then there'll be some more tree on top of that that will just, you know, you might only get 2 2x4s out of it, but that's 2 2x4s you don't have to buy. Now that we have the sawmill and we're kind of going through this process, we kind of have talked about like if we would have had the sawmill when we moved, or, you know, if we could have done that for the main cabin. While I wish, you know, knowing what I know now, that we would have bought the sawmill sooner just because of how handy it's been, I'm glad that we just had the cabin kit. Obviously that cost more than it would cost to mill our own logs, but we learned a lot in building that cabin, which is the only reason I'm building another one. Learned a lot on that one. Know what I'm doing now. The other thing is we needed a place to live. This is taking all winter long to get all these logs, and this is to build a much smaller cabin. So it wouldn't have been very feasible. Is that snow? It wouldn't have been very feasible to just build that cabin by our, you know, milling our own logs. Snow. There are 2 items that I plan on purchasing the lumber for. Plywood to sheet the floor. I believe I'm gonna buy 2x12 rafters. You know, obviously I can't make plywood, and I don't want to try and do some kind of plank floor. So snow, crazy kid. So be buying plywood, and more than likely be buying the rafters. If I happen to find a perfect tree to mill rafters out of, I will, but I want 2x12s. It's really hard to find a tree that big around here, especially that doesn't have any cracks in it. This is all standing dead beetle kill that has, it's just all cracked. It's been dead long enough that snow. So those are 2 things I plan on buying. But other than that, I want every piece of wood on this project to be milled. And I think I've got the wood to do it. Once you kind of get going on the sawmill, you can look at a tree that's a 9-inch diameter, and you know, in order to make a D-log, you need to take 1/2 inch off the top, roll it, take another 1/2 inch, make your 7-inch cut, blah, blah, blah. You just get in the rhythm of it. I'm not there yet. I milled a couple of 2x4s the other day. That's all I've done since the fall. So we'll get it going. I'll get an idea, and it probably won't take that long, but just kind of in my mind going, April I'll be milling. I'm going to use the rest of March to continue to collect logs. Nasty weather month as far as the snow's melting and everything's muddy. I can just be running the sawmill. And then snow. And then in May, once, you know, the ground starts thawing, then we'll actually start working on getting posts in the ground. The other thing is we've got a lot of trees to clear where the guest cabin's actually going to go. So there's no shortage of work, that's for sure. Yesterday we were talking about, you know, when you can see the orange in the log, you know, that's kind of rot getting going. I knew when I was cutting this yesterday and we were filming, I was seeing the sawdust come out, and it was definitely looking a little on the orange side. It actually feels like it's pretty good hard wood, definitely on its way out. So, and actually these 4 logs that we got out of that tree we cut down yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and throw them in the stack and keep them. I'm not going to count them and tally them. I've got a spreadsheet where I'm keeping track of all the logs that I've got and all the logs I need. I'm going to throw them in the stack, but I'm not going to mark them down in the spreadsheet. They'll just be some bonuses, you know, kind of like spares if we need them, but it's not the best looking wood. So I don't want to count on it, and then I get to milling it in a month when it's too hard to get out and get any more logs and go, this one's just no good. So a backup option that we can always use it for is, you know, mill it and build some raised beds for the garden. You know, Becca's always wanting more garden stuff, so it'll always work for that. There's always uses for it. Just not sure if we want to use it in the wall of the guest cabin. But either way, that's just kind of what you get. You don't, some trees, you know for certain that they're no good. Some of them look great, and you don't really know until you cut them down and get into them on what they're like inside. So, and we'll just keep ones like this for firewood. You know, that's actually a respectable piece of firewood. But for now, it's gonna make some good stringers to stack logs on. These are all very random in their order. So I just gotta get stuff, you know. Posts go over there with the beams and posts, and 10s and 12 footers go here, 16 footers there, so on and so forth. You wanna do some tractoring? Oh geez, okay. We gotta let it warm up for a second, but then we will, okay?
Henry, come here. Stay away from that pile. It's big. It's really
All right, buddy, you ready? Well, here, hang on a second, okay?
No.
Cameraman's freezing.
Huh?
Cameraman's cold.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm gonna do some sawmilling. Gotta get these women and children inside to warm up. Come on, Henry. Let's go get some lunch. Come on, bud. Let's go inside. Mom.